Wow, this is so exciting. Everybody, how are you doing? It's Sharon again. I mean, I'm giving you all wellness today, all right? Lemon water, what? In the see-through glass? We are going to have fun, total fun. Listen, I want to first of all thank you all for following me on this wellness journey. It's not just for healthcare workers and their families, it's for everybody. Once again, this is all for educational purposes. We're not here giving any kind of medical advice. We're just having fun talking about wellness, and it's pretty much my journey. So if you've been watching the series, some of you will understand how this all started when I made a post on Facebook about me needing a personal trainer and I needed to move more, and I just put it out there, and I wanted to, it was very vulnerable doing that, and I wanted to be held accountable. And so I decided to share on Facebook, and a few people just started to say, "Yay, Sharon, way to go." And so this is how all of this started to happen. So I'm going to introduce my special guest today, all the way from Bermuda. Hey,
Yes.
Sharon. Okay, so my guest, her name is Sharon Bailey, and she has been a leader, coach, and a mentor for over 30 years in Bermuda, the United States, the United Kingdom, and in the insurance and IT industry. Being confined to one place is not in her nature. Traveling is her passion and a way to push back against the 26 square miles on the tiny island of Bermuda, where she was born and raised. While paradise, oh my gosh, and you know I love Bermuda, right? My favorite place in the world. While paradise with pink sand and blue water is where most people choose to escape, her freedom is found in big cities, lush landscapes, and unfamiliar languages. Sharon has lived in the US, the UK, Europe, Singapore, and Thailand. She carries four things in her handbags. In addition to her wallet, her camera, phone, and passport are always close at hand, just in case the opportunity to be on the move comes up. I love that. Sharon has taken the leap that most people dream of. She quit her job in March 2021. She is, what is this here? She is diving in full time as a travel photographer and certified wild fit coach. Both allow her to find many forms of freedom. Sharon, you did it.
I
You
did it.
just said that was it. I'm out of here. You're ready to serve in a different capacity. And one of the things I love about your photos. They are so beautiful, first of all, absolutely beautiful. So welcome on into the space. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes.
And thank you for inviting me in here. This is great. This is a Sharon to Sharon. Yay!
Yes. We need to start a movement. I'm like,
I
more
think
people
so.
need to name their children Sharon.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. It's really interesting because we met a couple of years ago at a women's
Bermuda.
conference
Yeah.
here in
Our
Bermuda.
conference,
And
yeah.
what I most remember about you is being so photogenic. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I
there's
took this.
something about it. They've told me that, and I told that to somebody else. It's like the camera loves you. They're like, I don't know, it just happens.
Well, the thing is that you're a wonderful person to photograph because you exude energy. And nothing is worse for a photographer trying to take a picture of somebody that doesn't give you any energy. And you're sitting there going, oh my God. And any second now, we're going to catch a glimpse of this person. You are full out, full in, all the way. And just like you are with your your wellness and your health journey, you let us all in, and we feel it and we love it.
Thank you. And like I said, it was being really vulnerable because one of the postings I was telling somebody else was not supposed to be on my personal page. And when people started to answer, I'm like, they're not in the group. How did that happen? And I'm like, okay, it's a good thing I had taken a few selfies. So then I just posted in different places. But like I said, thank you for being here. And we're just, going to talk about in with everything that's happening. I don't even have to go all over it. We're in a new season. It's almost like the new norm for us. And so it happened where a lot of us we had to stay indoors because of what's been happening in the world. And so there wasn't a lot of movement. And so we became a little bit sedentary. And I decided that I'm just going to figure out how to become a top chef during a pandemic. All of a sudden, one of my daughters is like, Mommy, you're cooking, because usually their dad would do all the cooking. All of a sudden, I decided I'm going to cook, I'm going to bake, I'm going to do everything else. So I wasn't going to the gym. And, I got to put on a few pounds here and there. And being a new glam mom, I decided I needed a little bit more energy. And so I don't even know if I would say it's with food, it's learning maybe how to eat better and so forth. But my thing is, I knew that I needed more movement. And as the world opened up, people were getting back into the gym. I wasn't comfortable going back yet. My porch, I did what I knew how to do until I figured out that I needed additional support. So let's talk a little bit about your wellness journey, and if there's a relationship with food or movement. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, I'll just tell you a little bit. My journey with food, it's been a generational thing. I've watched my mother and my grandmother go from dieting to diabetes and back, because I don't know if it's something ingrained that they never felt that they were enough the way they were. So they were always on a diet, whether it was raisins and carrots or cabbage.
Everything.
Exactly. There was always some sort of diet. And I hadn't realized that I'd actually bought into that thought or mindset until I've been living overseas for a couple of years. And I think it was 2019, I was photographing the carnival, one of the first carnivals in Bermuda. And, all the women and the bodies and everything was so beautiful. And I caught a glimpse of myself in the long mirrors and long windows of my building. And I was spilling out of the top and the bottom of my shorts. And wow. It really took me back, because I didn't recognize who that person was. I had been so used to seeing myself as a photographer, not actually looking at myself. And that's when I thought, okay, I have to do something. So I went to a physician and he checked me out, make sure that things, what sort of health I was in. And we found out that I had high blood pressure. And I didn't know that before then. And I actually had a bout of vertigo, which we thought that it was the inner ear, but actually it had to do with the blood pressure. I don't know the difference between the upper and the lower end. I know you do, but the lower end was at 110, which was way too high.
Yeah, your diastolic.
Yeah. So I didn't, he just told me, you got to do something. So I went on a near starvation diet, because he told me I had to lose weight. That's what he told me I had to do. So I went on this diet, and I lost a couple of pounds, but it wasn't healthy. Mm. And that's what struck me. I knew I could not continue. So I'm part of a group called Mind Valley. I'm sure everybody's heard of this. Yes, and Mind Valley had Eric Edmeades on as giving a talk, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go and do this, and I did it. At the end of the 90 days, I was so happy with the results. I signed up immediately as a coach. So I took all the training and everything, but I didn't start teaching it until 1 full year had gone by, because I wanted to make sure it stuck. I want to make sure that it worked. All too often we go on these healthy eating binges, diets, whatever, and they work for a period of time, but then they stop working. So I was really happy a year later when I weighed actually less than I did at the end of the program. The three main things that happened for me. Number one was that when I went back to the doctor, my blood pressure was stable. And I got checked out 2 days ago, and it was 110/70. I know that is awesome for me. The second thing is that I released the weight. That was the thing. I actually released 30 pounds. I've got stuff written on my just to remind me all the stuff. But anyway, and the final thing was that I got a thigh gap. Now, anybody,
we can stay.
I know. So I didn't even, So I was out with like some girlfriends, and one of the girls, she was looking at the picture, she goes, "Oh my God, Sharon, you have a thigh gap." And I said, "What's a thigh gap?" And she said, "That." And I said, "I didn't even know I wanted a thigh gap until they told me I had a thigh gap." But I was thinking, if nothing else keeps me on this journey, it's going to be that thigh gap. But what was really important about the program, while I had great results, what was really, really good for me, it was about looking at my daily habits.
Oh.
So the program was more about getting more of the good stuff in than eliminating all of the bad stuff. Yeah. So
that, Sharon, because you shared some of the photos with food, and they were absolutely beautiful. I'm like, what did you do? I think those are strawberries. Who has the time to do that, and why? Explain it to me. I'm not even going to say explain. Explain it to me. Explain it to me.
Well, what we do know is that our eyes start the whole digestion process. And what I learned is that I could take the strawberries out of the package, throw them in a bowl, and then go and eat them. But what I was doing is I was giving myself time to actually consciously choose this. So I would cut up the strawberries and I'd put them on the plate, and I would, do the whole thing, and my husband would come along and take one and eat it. Like, what?
You're designing. Yeah.
I cut another one, put it
food plates. Yeah. Plates. Okay.
Yeah, and I love the way it looked, and I actually enjoyed it more because I took the time to prepare it. And COVID, this whole time, actually gave me the opportunity to do it because I wasn't racing off anywhere. Couldn't go anywhere.
Because I know you guys were you are always traveling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was what I learned about the whole within the program. It's about seasons. So we know, growing up on an island, there was never a time where every vegetable or every fruit was available all the time. Except now we have grocery stores where everything is available all the time. And we don't give our bodies a chance to go in and out of seasons. We eat all the time.
Yeah.
And that was this what this program taught me, was that sometimes you just got to give your body a rest.
Yeah.
And not have something. So that was the first part. The second part is about why we eat. Now, we eat to celebrate, we eat to grieve, we eat because that's a part of our culture. It's the way we've been raised. But I never realized until my husband and I were in Cayman Islands, and he wanted to go and get an ice cream. And he went and got his ice cream. And he said to me, "We're going to sit here and eat our ice cream." And I looked at him going, "No." And I realized that his upbringing around having an ice cream meant that if he were good, and he sat down and behaved himself, he could have an ice cream. That wasn't our journey. In Bermuda, you had to eat that ice cream really quickly because it would melt.
It's hot.
Yeah. So your mom would say to you, "Don't bring that mess in the house." Eat it and finish it. So I realized that we were, how would I say this? Each generation has a way of teaching another generation how to do things. And his teaching was that you sit down to have an ice cream. My teaching was that you eat it and you hurry up and eat it. But then what I realized is that I wasn't even sure why. I didn't even really want the ice cream. It was an ice cream shop. You have an ice cream. It's a hot day, all those things. And I realized I wasn't consciously looking at if I wanted the ice cream.
That's interesting, because sometimes I'll say to my husband too, he eats. He said, "Oh, I eat when I'm hungry." And I'm like, not my family. It's like you guys have, you got a problem with food, you don't like to see it. I'm like, no, we gotta eat it. So he said he eats when he's hungry, and I guess that's supposed to be the way. And when you spoke a little bit about sometimes we have to give our bodies a rest. I remember on every Monday he would do his fasting. He would just he would just give, and we know for those of us out there, you know, in prayer and whichever way and fasting that we're supposed to, and it's really a healthy thing to do. And it's almost like intermittent fasting. Remember, guys, this is just for educational purposes.
Yes.
I'm only talking about me and my family, you know, what we do. And so, you know, there are times when they say, turn your plate down, walk away from it, and just give your body a chance. And now you're talking about how, you know, how we think about food and we interact with it. So as a child, something could trigger ice cream. I just sit and eat it, or I just hurry up before it melts. As a child in the island,
I love that.
it was just like the ice cream and all of that. And so now it's maybe our relationship with food. So you shared some things with me to show me the difference that you had over this year's time. And when did you say, now I'm ready to share it with others? When did you get to that point?
When it was last summer. So I'd been through the program a whole year, and I was out on the golf course, and I realized that I'd always made up the reason I could play or had a really healthy swing was because I was heavier. You know, you have to make this stuff up in your mind. Exactly. And I realized I was still hitting the ball as far as I was, and I was 30 pounds lighter. I was like, hang on a second, something. And I realized at that point, my bones and joints were healthy.
Nice.
And so I started to talk to some of the ladies in my golfing group about health. And, you know, I'd had a couple, I think I had 10 friends, 10 women come into the course the first time. And they all had different levels of change or transformation. But the best one was my friend. She's 88 years old. And she really wanted to get in these fancy pants. Anyway, she got in the pants, and I said to her, so tell me about one of your non-weight related wins, part of this journey. And she told me a couple of things, and then she was ready to sign off. And then she says, oh, wait a minute. I got to tell you this. She'd had blephitis for 50 years. This is an
what is that? Isn't there some like, oh, with the, what is that?
It's an oozing of the eyes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's had it for 50 years, and she'd been on all sorts of medication, but her doctor kept telling her it has to do with the foods that you're eating. And she was like, no, it cannot be that. So when we went through the program of the 90 days, really putting in lots of green vegetables, upping the hydration in your body, watching all of the processed foods that you're in, eliminating sugar. She said to me, I have to tell you, I haven't used my drops in about 2 months.
Wow.
And that is the best win I have ever had that is non-weight related, because this was having an impact on her golf. You know, she's 88, but she's out there playing. This was having a major impact on her golf. And when I said to her, you know, what does this do for you? She says, you have no idea how much I spend on that medication.
Yeah.
And as a senior citizen. So I was delighted with that. So that's when I knew I could do this, that everybody's not going to have the same weight release that I had, but everybody will have a health transformation that works for them.
That works for them. That's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I loved it, that the fact that she, you know, she spoke with her doctor and what she was doing. And like you said, the transformation, and for you as a health and wellness coach, and you'd have to tell them what they exactly, you know, how to use, how are you considered a health and wellness coach, or?
Yeah, just a health and wellness coach. I don't have a nutritional background, but I've learned a lot doing the program. I've learned a lot about my own nutrition and about my, and what I get is that what happens to us has a lot to do with what's up here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've seen, and we've heard women say this, that when I eat this cake, it's going to go straight to my hips. Or this is a heart attack on a plate.
I know we got to be careful of the words. we got to be careful of the words that we speak and that we put out there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love how you use weight releasing, how we release.
Yes.
The way we always talk about we're going to lose something, and as if we're
it keeps coming back.
just going to release it. So yeah. So Sharon, before we go, and I love talking to you about health and wellness and the things that you're passionate about. Golfing is one of them. Because I saw you, where were you, in Ireland or in Spain, everywhere? Where has been the best golf course for you?
The best golf courses are in Ireland.
Wow.
My husband is Irish, so we get to travel there about twice a year. And I'm up on the series. I've won. Yes.
And when you say, what is your handicap? Like, I know, I just always
no, my handicap is very high. They call me a hacker.
Okay.
Okay. But what I love about it is that my husband and I have been doing this for well over 30 years together. And this is a thing that we do together. You know, we travel together and we play golf together. And that really supports our relationship. Nice. Someone asked me the other day, like, how did you two last? And I said, love is in there, but respect. He doesn't, I know I have self-respect and he has self-respect, and we respect each other. So even when we're playing golf and it's, a little bit testy and all the rest of it, we have a really good understanding of what it means. And this is the same thing that happens in your wellness. You may have a fighting relationship with your diet or your wellness, but at the end of the day, what it really means, how are you going to show up? How are you going to live? What it's going to mean for your family. And for me, I don't have children, but my brother has many children. And I want to be the example so that they don't have to go through the generational dieting and diabetes that I've seen my parents, my mom and grandmother go through.
Wow. And I like how you put that with relationship and the relationship with our health. I absolutely love that. And another passion of yours is photography. Oh, the most beautiful photos. How did you all get into that? Because I know when I met you, you had your camera. And so now are you considered a professional photographer? What are you going to do with that? Because it's nice that we're thinking about our wellness ourselves, but I want people to see that there are other things they can be passionate about that will create movement in their lives mentally and physically, and of course, emotionally.
And the photography, I think it started, goodness, many years ago. So I always wanted to be an artist. I was one of these people that fancied myself as an artist. So I went and took a painting class. And they basically said to me, perhaps you should try drawing. I went, okay. Yeah, I go off and I do some drawing, and the guy says, perhaps you should think of printmaking. I'm like, okay. So I go off and do that. And my husband, totally frustrated, because from being a painter, I had to go out and get the easel, right, and all the canvases, and a watercolor. I need to get all the watercolors and all the stuff. And then a printmaking, when I wanted to buy the 2-ton machine that would press the thing, he probably thought, okay, let me help her. So he bought me a camera. He's probably thinking
that's another thing we need to say yes for, because now we see the results, the photo.
Yeah. And so I started taking photographs, and I've always taken beautiful photographs. And then when I was living in Singapore, that's when the photography changed. I met someone and he invited me to his studio, and I showed him all my beautiful, pretty pictures. And he said to me, do you want to take pretty pictures or you want to be a photographer? And I was like, what's the difference? And he says, the photographer takes photographs that have a relationship in the photo. Most people take photos of pretty pictures. So if you look at some of the pictures now, you will see there's either a bird or there's something else in the picture, so that you get to understand the scale and the relationship. And I remember taking these photographs, and he said to me, trees have tops and people have feet. I was like, oh. Because I was
all the relationship in the photo.
All the relationship.
Yeah.
And
I've seen your photos with the sunset, then I'll see the clouds and something else. And it's just like, oh, I'm taking it all in with my eyes. So now I see what he's talking about is experiences.
It is the experience, yes.
Yeah, wonderful.
So I was lucky that I got to have that training and that encouragement. Also, I'm also lucky that I have an amazing husband that gives me time to go and spend in different countries on my own, just with my
Sharon,
family.
you mean some of those trips you're by yourself?
Most of them by myself.
Gosh.
Yeah, most of them by myself. My husband doesn't have the patience to stand in one place for 3 hours while I take photographs.
Wow.
He's like,
have you
so
been to Bali yet? Have you been to Bali?
Yes, I have.
Oh my gosh, beautiful, isn't it?
It is stunning.
Were you able to take photos of, there were like the gates, the gates, I don't know, the steps. They have the steps, they have the gates, they have the rocks, they have the mountain. They were just like temples. They were like,
Oh, the temples, yes.
Yes, and you see the structure was just so amazing, just
Yeah.
beautiful. Where
What I
else have you gone and photographed that you think that's also beautiful? Because this is movement too. I mean,
Yes.
you know how you're standing, like you say, you're in one place. You got to be mindful also what you're doing and capturing. Where else is beautiful that you?
One of my favorite places to photograph was Colombia earlier this year. The color. So I did a series in Scotland called Chasing Light. In Colombia, I've done a series called Chasing Color. Because
where can we see them though, Sharon? Where can we see your work? I know sometimes you post them.
A lot of it is not posted. I've done a couple of books for friends, and this is something my husband keeps saying to me. He says, look, this is something I'm looking to do I can't believe it, I'm actually going to be of retirement age next year. How?
We're all in different seasons.
I know, but how? You know, my mom lied to me. She told me, she lied to me about my age. But anyway, I'm going to be of retirement age. And so I'm looking at that in addition to the wellness side of things, because all of this I can do and travel.
Yes, I see that. I really see it. Wow. This has been exciting. You know, we're talking about wellness, we're talking about our passion, talking about doing the things that we truly love. And in your movement, you know, you're burning some calories. So we're not even thinking, you know, I had another interview where she spoke about yoga, she spoke about dancing, movement of the body, and also being mindful, you know, the mindfulness that comes with all of this. And so this has been a really interesting interview. I love it. And of course, your passion too is golf. That's a great way, a great exercise. I guess you're working the upper body, the arms, waist, moving a little bit of everything. So before we go, anything else you'd like to share and also tell folks where they can find you?
Okay. The first thing I'd like to share is that our wellness is totally in our hands. Whether we make a choice or not making a choice, we make a choice. I hear women say all the time, I didn't have a choice. Well, in not making a choice, you chose that. My husband's a great cook. And when he's saying, what do you want for dinner tonight? I'm very specific about what I want. And I've learned that through WildFit, where before it's like, oh, anything. And I was making a choice that was not in line with my health. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want people to know is that movement is vitally important. What we get confused with is everybody wants to know how much, or the same thing with water, how much. And we have a philosophy that when I'm working with the women, first of all, with water, is 6 to 8 glasses of water. If you're a tall person, 6 to 8 tall glasses of water. If you're a shorter person, 6 to 8 short glasses of water. And it's the same thing when it comes to movement. We're asking you to go for an hour. Just go somewhere. If you want to do 2 half hours, just go somewhere and walk for an hour. Yeah. Or run for an hour. If you're a runner, or if you are a gym rat, work out for an hour. We're not asking you to do anything more than what you're capable of doing. So my mom, for instance, she's in her 80s, God bless her heart, and she walks around her garden.
And that's what she can do, and
that's what she can
beautiful. Do. Yeah. And I like that idea, because I read that somewhere, that just make it a choice. What do you want to do? Do I want to work out this morning? Do I want to go walking? Do I want to do some cardio? And when I started thinking about it that way, it made an amazing difference. And I'm like, oh, I think I'll go walking this morning.
Yes.
Yeah, the choice is there. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So is there a website or somewhere where we can find you, or?
Yeah, my website is aweinmagic.com. Awe in Magic is the parent company that I'm creating. And it's about women to understand that our stories matter,
Yes,
that our stories are the ones, and the only person that can tell our stories is us.
absolutely.
And I want women to be able to tell their stories in a free and open way so that they can make their own transformations. Too often we are following somebody else to follow their transformation.
Mhm.
I want them to know that their story can transform them.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not about me trying to transform you. It's about me trying to transform me. And in doing that, you get to see the example of how it's done.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So it's aweinmagic.com.
All right. How do you spell that? Is it
It's right there on the screen, or in magic.
All in magic.
Yes.
Love it. Oh,
yes.
Beautiful. Sharon Bailey, thank you so much. All the way over there in Bermuda. I miss you guys. I think the last time I was there was 2019. I didn't see you when I was there at that time. But I miss Bermuda, and I can't wait until we're all safe enough to start traveling from some more. I've been traveling quietly and getting ready to travel another big trip in November. So hopefully by then I still have my little iPhone. Maybe I'll get a professional camera.
No, and this is something you'll see on the website. There's a course coming, photography course, that I'm putting up, a travel photography course, because really? I'm going to teach women how to take awesome photos with your phone.
All right, I think I want to take that one because
yeah, I'm going to do a 5-day challenge for you to take awesome photos with your phone. I've taken some amazing photos with my phone, because the best camera you have, the best camera in the world, is the one you have with you.
True that. True.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it,
I'd have to go out and get a professional. I remember back in the day when I had my Canon T50. I don't even know if they make those anymore. And I used to put on the different lenses. Yeah, and that's when I came. Gosh, that was a long time ago. Because I remember I still have some of my photos from Bermuda, from different places. I've been Horseshoe Bay. I love Horseshoe Bay. Oh my gosh. And when I used to travel to different places, but then I'm thinking the camera is too bulky to travel with. But if you're a photographer, you're a photographer. It's your tool.
Absolutely. It's your tool. Sharon, where are you? Where are you actually?
I'm in New Jersey right now.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. I'm based in New Jersey. But sometimes too, I travel a lot and I share it with you guys. But the last year it was like, I just went from here to maybe the next town over for almost a year. Really, I didn't go farther than 3 towns away. I just stayed where I was, and slowly I've been getting out. I've been doing some traveling, and my international travel, next one will be in November, and so I'll tell you more about that. Scenes. Okay. Thank you so much, Sharon. It's been good. It's been great. Everybody, remember, your wellness, it's all up to you. And it's important, of course, you put the oxygen mask on first. You take care of you. Speak with your physician. Do what is good for you that you can do, and have fun with it. We're in different seasons of our lives, and life, I always say, is so precious. And so I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. All right, until next time, everybody, I'll see you in the spotlight. Take care. RN2.
Thank you.
Oh, and recognizing that you do need to nurture yourself. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs and your businesses, because I know some of you have more than one, so slow down, have fun, and be well. Take care. Until next time, we'll see you, everybody. Bye-bye.